Hey everybody, Dr. John here with LifeSpa Ayurveda. Today I want to talk about something called interoception. Interoception is actually feeling subtle signals on the inside of your body versus proprioception is when you feel things with the proprioceptors in your fingers or on your skin. So we have many of these interoreceptors in our body, particularly around the diaphragm and respiratory tract, that actually are designed to feel subtle signals, in particular used for or understood to be linked to emotional regulation. So if you are under a lot of stress, instead of having an instant emotional reaction with mental thoughts and anger, that you have these, if they're developed, these emotional regulatory interoreceptors that allow you to feel, interpret that signal, and then respond versus react. Many of us just get something that happens to us in a bad way, we react in an emotional way with anger. And this allows us to actually respond from something beyond just our mind's kind of conditioned response to a threat or a stimulus or some type of stress. So the idea of interoception is to learn how to perceive these subtle signals and then use them to actually not think and react, but to feel and respond. Turns out in Ayurveda that the language of the soul is feelings, not thoughts. In fact, many techniques in Ayurveda and yoga are designed to learn how to feel and stop thinking. You know, when I would used to teach a lot of Ayurvedic pulse diagnosis, and everybody wanted to analyze the pulse until they kind of figured it out academically, intellectually. And I would say, well, we don't call it thinking the pulse, we call it feeling the pulse. It's sort of a diagnostic tool used in traditional cultures, right? And when you feel those impressions, and then you can interpret them. Turns out that techniques like pratyahara or self-inquiry are all used and successful only when you actually learn how to feel and not think. So this is the beautiful thing. I've written a complete comprehensive article about the science behind this. I think it's really interesting. Go to lifespa.com and check it out. You can also sign up for our newsletter so you don't miss any of that along the way. And also check us out on all of our social platforms. And if you like us, please like us or follow. Okay, so interoception is such a cool thing because it's really the kind of Western version of what Ayurveda talked about as pratyahara. Pratyahara means using your senses as avenues of consciousness to learn how to feel, as opposed to using your senses only to get satisfied through them by external stimuli. So you can use interoception by, one of my favorite ways is just to use your breathing and to follow your breath. Track it all the way from feeling the breath through your nostrils, all the way into your respiratory tract, and then all the way back out, tracking your own self-experiences. Is a beautiful way to begin the pratyahara process. Another way to do that, to develop the sense of feeling and develop the ability to speak the language of these interoreceptors, is to use your senses as the avenues of conscious bringing information in. So let's say you're in a garden and you're looking at a beautiful flower or the beautiful sky or the wind blowing in the trees. Look at that experience and allow it to be felt as opposed to just enjoyed. In other words, allow that to be a tangible experience that you're feeling, maybe some feeling of expansion, something like that. You can also listen to the birds and the wind through the trees and let that sound be felt and track that all the way into either your brain or even into your heart, where you might even feel a level of expansion from some of those signals. You could actually touch things that are beautiful, like a petal of a flower or the bark of a tree or the leaf of a tree or the skin of a baby, anything that would give you a sense, but feel that experience all the way into your heart. You can taste your food in the same way, and really a lot of foodies are really like that. They just love food because they have such a visceral reaction to it. They're totally tuned into the taste and the texture of every sense and every taste that we have. So those are ways that you can do it. And there's also something called self-inquiry, which I want to teach you now. And that's a technique that you would learn how to inquire about the self, when the self is the soul, we could say. Self-inquiry is not like about, how do I look in this dress or in this color? The self-inquiry is the big self. How do I listen to my soul? And that's what self-inquiry is. And remember, the language of the soul is feelings, not thinking. So what you would do in this process, we're going to sort of charge your prana with a breathing technique. After we do this breathing technique, we're going to then sit still quietly and then just ask a question. Say the question is, what is love? And then when you sit and wait for an answer, this is self-inquiry. When a thought comes, oh, love is this and love is that, those are thoughts. That's your mind giving an answer. We don't want that. We want to let those thoughts go by, and wait for a feeling. Wait for an expansion feeling. Wait for some sensory experience. Wait for your senses to kind of be triggered, or a feeling in your skin or a feeling in your body. Some kind of feeling, knowing, or interpretation of those feelings is what you're looking for. It's an interesting practice. It's something we all have to work on, but let's give it a go and see how we feel. Let's sit up straight. We're going to do something I call my 1-minute meditation. I have a whole video on how to do that. Where you do Bhastrika, which is the bellows breath. You do about 30 of those breaths. As long as you're comfortable and don't get any dizziness, there's no discomfort allowed, but you are breathing like a bellows and creating a lot more prana that's moving. Then you sit still and we'll ask that question and I'll guide you through the process. We're just going to do 10 bellows breaths for now. And if, like I said, any discomfort, just stop and take a break. So here we go. Its bellows looks like this. It's all through the nose. Inhale and out. Doesn't have to be fast, but it does have to be deep. Okay, so here we go. We're going to do 10. And now just sit perfectly still. And when you feel settled, just ask the question, what is love? And wait. If a thought comes, let it go. Another thought comes, let it go. Wait for a feeling of expansion, like what is love? And my heart starts to expand. Those are feelings, and now we can interpret those feelings. If you have multiple thoughts, just ask the question again. If need be, take a couple of breaths to clear your head. Because sometimes this breathing will push the thoughts away and allow you to begin to feel. That's what the breathing is for, to kind of disengage the mental control over everything. And you can sit still here as long as you like, waiting for that feeling. It's a beautiful practice. You can ask any question that you like. It's the beginning of understanding what self-inquiry and what interoception is all about. Thanks for listening. I'm Dr. John Douillard. Do you like this video? Don't forget to subscribe and share.
This recording is brought to you by LifeSpa, where ancient Ayurvedic wisdom meets modern science. Get access to free health video newsletters by Dr. John at lifespa.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.